Why being the nice guy doesn't save you. Let's get real. Women don't leave men because they care too much. They leave because caring alone isn't enough. Harsh? Maybe, but true. Being a man who showers her with affection, caters to her every need, and puts her happiness above everything else doesn't automatically guarantee her loyalty. In fact, in many cases, it drives her away. Why? Because what you think is love, she might see as weakness. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about blaming women or suggesting that kindness is a flaw. It's about understanding the dynamics of attraction and relationships. Women crave emotional depth, strength, and leadership. When a man becomes overly focused on proving he cares, he risks losing the qualities that initially attracted her, the confidence, independence, and sense of purpose that made her look his way in the first place. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Women often leave men who care deeply about them because these men fail to strike a balance. Caring becomes suffocating when it feels like the man has no life outside the relationship. She starts to see him as predictable, too available, and lacking that spark of mystery or excitement. And once she stops feeling challenged or inspired by the relationship, her attraction fades, even if she still respects him as a person. Think about it. Have you ever heard of the phrase, "too good to be true"? Sometimes, when you're too available, too giving, and too self-sacrificing, it backfires. Instead of being the guy she admires, you become the guy she takes for granted. This doesn't mean you should play games or withhold your affection, but it does mean you need to keep your edge, your ambitions, your passions, and yes, even a bit of unpredictability. Women want a man who is not just focused on them, but also on his mission in life. In this video, we'll break down why women leave men who genuinely care and what you can do to avoid falling into this trap. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand what women truly want and how to show you care without losing yourself in the process. 1. Caring too much feels like clinginess. Let's face it, when you go above and beyond for someone without ever taking a step back, it starts to feel less like love and more like desperation. The reality is, no woman is attracted to a man who is constantly in her space, checking in too often, and giving her all his attention without any space for himself. It feels suffocating, even if your intentions are pure. When you care too much, it can create a feeling of dependency. She may start to feel like she's the center of your universe. This can be flattering for a while, but over time, it becomes overwhelming. Women want a man who is confident enough to live his own life, chase his own goals, and have his own friends. When you make her your everything, you send the message that you have nothing else going on. This can make her question your value as a partner. She'll begin to see you less as someone with a strong personality and more as someone who is simply too available. The more you give, the more she expects, until it eventually feels like a one-sided relationship. She's giving nothing back, and you're doing everything for her. This creates an unhealthy dynamic. Think about the last time you gave too much. You probably texted her multiple times a day, dropped everything to be there when she needed you, and let your needs slide just to make her happy. At first, she may have been grateful or even flattered, but over time, she starts feeling like you're always there, always agreeing with her, and always at her beck and call. It's not love, it's clinginess. Example, imagine you're dating a woman, and every time she's free, you rearrange your schedule to hang out with her. You cancel plans with your friends, stay up late, and even skip your gym sessions just to be with her. At first, she loves the attention, but after a while, she notices that you never seem to be doing anything else. You're always around, and your world seems to revolve around her. She starts wondering, does this guy even have a life outside of me? Does he have passions, goals, or friends? She doesn't want to feel like you're completely dependent on her for happiness, and slowly, that initial spark fades. You've become a little too predictable and a little too always available. She might even start to avoid texting you back quickly or take longer to respond. The message is clear. It's not attractive. Caring is important, but there's a fine line between caring and over-caring. If you're giving all your attention to her without leaving room for yourself, you risk becoming the clingy guy who makes her feel trapped instead of cherished. Women want to be with a man who has his own life, goals, and interests, someone who can stand on his own and isn't just focused on making her his whole world. By giving her some space and maintaining your own identity, you not only keep your attraction level high, but you also avoid the trap of being labeled as too much. 2. She loses respect when you have no backbone. Respect is the foundation of any successful relationship. And while love and affection are important, respect is what keeps things balanced and enduring. When you're constantly deferring to her, giving in to her every request, and avoiding conflict just to keep the peace, you start to lose something crucial: her respect. A man without a backbone, a man who can't stand his ground or express his own opinion, is not seen as strong. Women are naturally attracted to strength, and this doesn't just mean physical strength, it's about mental and emotional strength too. When you allow her to walk all over you, or you never stand up for yourself, she starts to lose that admiration she once had for you. It might feel like you're being nice or understanding, but what you're really doing is showing that you don't have the confidence to lead or make decisions. A woman wants a man who can make his own choices, stand by his beliefs, and express his thoughts, even when they differ from hers. When you're always agreeing with her, even if you secretly disagree, it's clear that you're afraid of upsetting her. This lack of assertiveness can drive her away. It's not about being controlling or demanding, but about showing that you can hold your ground when it matters. Women respect a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to voice it. But when you simply go along with whatever she says or avoids confrontation at all costs, it makes you look weak, and weakness is a turnoff. Example: let's say you're out with your girlfriend and she suggests a restaurant that you really don't like. But instead of voicing your opinion or suggesting something else, you just agree with her, even though you're not happy. She notices that you never push back, never stand up for what you want. She starts to think, does he even have an opinion of his own? This constant deferring makes her question your ability to make decisions in bigger, more important situations. Over time, she starts to feel like she's the one wearing the pants in the relationship. You've become predictable, and she no longer sees you as a partner, but more like someone who simply follows her lead. This creates a shift in the relationship dynamic, where the attraction slowly fades. Being assertive doesn't mean being rude or confrontational. It means standing up for yourself and what you believe in. It means being able to say no when needed, and yes when you truly want to. When you show that you're not afraid to express your opinions and desires, you keep her respect. That respect in turn fuels the attraction, and the relationship remains strong. 3. Being predictable kills her attraction. There's nothing worse than becoming too predictable. When she knows exactly how you'll react, what you'll do next, or how far you'll go to please her, the excitement fades. Women crave challenge, unpredictability, and a sense of mystery in a relationship. If you're always doing the same thing, saying the same things, and acting in the same way, you start to blend into the background. Predictability in a man signals complacency, and that's not attractive. When she can set her watch by you, she knows there's no thrill in your presence. The initial spark that was there when you first met, it's fading fast. The truth is, women love the chase, and they enjoy the unpredictability that comes with it. They want someone who surprises them, someone who keeps them on their toes. When you become too easy to read, she starts to lose interest. Think about it. Have you ever had someone around who always does the same thing, says the same jokes, or wears the same style? It's comforting at first, but over time, it's like watching the same rerun every day. It's just not exciting anymore. She starts to feel like she knows exactly what's coming next, and that's when she begins to look elsewhere for the thrill she's craving. In relationships, the element of surprise keeps the attraction alive. It doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative. It's about showing her that you have depth, layers, and a life that doesn't revolve solely around her. When you're predictable, you show that you're always available, always eager to please, and always giving the same responses. That gets boring. If you're always the one to make plans, always the one to text first, and always the one to show up, it might seem like you're being attentive, but she starts to see you as someone who's just too available, too eager. And when you're too eager, the sense of challenge disappears. You're no longer a mystery. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being inconsistent or unreliable. It means keeping a sense of independence and showing her that you have your own life, interests, and things going on. You can surprise her with spontaneous plans, unexpected compliments, or even with moments of silence where you don't chase her attention all the time. The point here is that you need to keep her guessing, just enough to maintain that intrigue. When she's constantly wondering what you'll do next, when she feels like you're a little bit elusive, that's when she's drawn in even more. Predictability removes that excitement. It makes you blend in with the rest of the guys who are just there, always showing up and always doing the same thing. No one likes to be bored in a relationship, and predictability leads straight to boredom. Keep her intrigued by showing that you're more than just a routine or a pattern. When she sees that you have your own world and that you're not just waiting around for her attention, that's when the attraction stays alive. 4. You neglect your own life to focus on hers. Here's the hard truth. When you make her your entire world and neglect your own life, you're doing it wrong. It's time to wake up and realize this. Women want a man who has his own life, his own passions, and his own goals. If you're constantly putting her needs, desires, and problems above everything else, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're not just losing your own identity, you're also putting the relationship at risk. Let me be blunt. No woman wants to be your everything. She doesn't want to be the sole focus of your life. She wants a man who is driven, who has ambition, who is carving his own path, and who has a life that is independent of hers. When you give up your friends, your hobbies, and your career to chase her around or make her your top priority, you're sending a message that you don't have enough going on for yourself. Think about it. If you're always available, always at her beck and call, what happens to your own dreams? What happens to your personal growth? When you neglect your life for hers, you're not just sacrificing your own happiness, you're also becoming less attractive to her. You're becoming predictable, you're becoming needy, and most importantly, you're showing her that you're desperate. It's a sad reality, but men often fall into this trap. They think that the more they focus on the woman, the more she'll appreciate them. They think that by sacrificing their own time, their own goals, and their own interests, they'll win her over. But what they don't realize is that women are drawn to men who are self-sufficient, independent, and emotionally mature enough to handle their own lives without relying on her for constant validation. When you let go of your own ambitions and become consumed by her world, she'll start to lose respect. It doesn't matter how much you love her or how hard you work to please her, it's a turnoff. You'll start to feel it in her actions. She'll become distant, less affectionate, and possibly even more frustrated. She may start to question whether you're strong enough to be a partner or if you're simply someone who needs to be saved. Wake up. You need to get your own life together first. Prioritize your career, your friendships, and your passions. When you have a life outside of her, you become more interesting. You have your own stories to tell, your own adventures, and most importantly, your own sense of worth. This doesn't mean ignoring her or being emotionally distant. It means not losing yourself in the process of the relationship. The most attractive thing you can do is to continue growing as an individual. Be someone she can look up to and admire, not someone who becomes invisible because you've let her consume every part of your life. When you're living your own life and pursuing your own dreams, you not only become more attractive to her, but you also maintain the respect and admiration you both need for the relationship to thrive. 5. You stop challenging her and she starts taking you for granted. Here's the cold truth. Once you stop challenging her, she starts taking you for granted. It's as simple as that. Women need a man who challenges them, emotionally, mentally, and even in the way he makes her think about herself and the relationship. When you stop doing that, when you start letting her walk all over you, or stop making her work for your attention and affection, she stops appreciating you. She'll start to take you for granted, and that's when the relationship begins to die a slow death. Men often make the mistake of thinking that once a woman is into them, they can just coast. They think, she's mine now, so I don't need to put in the effort anymore. But let me be clear. If you think you can just stop challenging her and she'll stick around forever, you're wrong. Attraction is not something that can be turned on and off like a switch. It has to be maintained. Here's the problem. When you stop challenging her, you start to become predictable. You stop doing the little things that made her excited about you in the first place. You stop being mysterious, you stop making her work for your attention, and you start giving in to her every whim. You become comfortable. Comfortable is good for a while, but over time, comfort breeds complacency, and complacency breeds boredom. She might not tell you this, but she'll start to feel less challenged by you. She'll begin to take your kindness and your attention for granted. Women need a reason to keep working on the relationship. They need to feel that spark, that tension, that excitement of the chase. If you become too easy, too available, or too accommodating, you're giving her no reason to chase you anymore. Now, I'm not saying you should be distant or play games, but there's a balance. Keep her guessing. Keep her intrigued. Don't always be available for every call, text, or request. Don't always agree with her or give her everything she wants. Stand firm in your own desires, and don't be afraid to challenge her, to push her to think differently, or to bring something new to the table. If you stop challenging her, you're doing more damage than you realize. You're telling her that you don't have your own identity or desires. You're telling her that she's in control, and when that happens, she stops feeling the need to value you. She starts to think that you'll always be there, that you'll always be the nice, predictable guy who never challenges her or asks for anything. Wake up and stop giving her everything she wants without making her earn it. If you want her to continue to respect and be attracted to you, you need to remain someone who challenges her, someone who keeps her on her toes. Stop being so available, so predictable, and so accommodating. It's time to step up and show her that you're not just going to give in all the time. When you challenge her in a healthy way, you keep her on her toes and you remind her why she's with you in the first place. Let me leave you with this. If you don't start stepping up and challenging her, she'll leave you for someone who does. That's the hard truth. Too many men sit back, get comfortable, and think that love alone will keep a woman around. But love, without respect, excitement, and growth, is nothing more than a sinking ship. She'll lose interest and start looking for someone who keeps her on her toes, someone who doesn't let her take them for granted. So, the choice is yours. You can either keep doing the same thing, becoming predictable, complacent, and desperate for her attention, or you can step back, take control of your life, and challenge her to keep up with you. When you do this, you're not playing games. You're showing her the man you truly are, a man who values himself and has the strength to walk away if necessary. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced any of these situations in your relationships? Maybe you've been the one who was taken for granted, or maybe you've made the mistake of becoming too predictable. Comment below and share your experiences. I'll be reaching out to personally connect with you. Let's create a conversation around this because I know there's a lot more to uncover when it comes to understanding how women think. I want to help you stop making these mistakes and show you how to keep the attraction alive. You're not alone in this, and the more we talk, the more we all learn and grow together. So, don't be shy. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's connect. You deserve to have the relationship you want, and it starts with taking a hard look at the truth.